All right, this is our next episode of True Wrestling Fans Discussions, continuing Hulk Hogan and WCW. We're up to 1995, toward the end of 95, and right before Halloween Havoc and all the fun stuff. I'm your host, Mike.
I'm Frank. Let's get into this. This is the last act for Hogan before NWO.
Yeah. So right before October 9th, we'll get into October 9th in a second. Right before that, in an episode of it was Monday Nitro, Hogan comes out and there's some old lady in the crowd, but it's really Kevin Sullivan. And I think they throw the I guess baby powder in his face.
Mm-hmm.
They start beating him up, and then they shave his mustache off. And that, I guess, that got rid of the good Hulkamania, I guess. It took his powers. It was like Samson when they cut his hair or something. I don't know.
Yeah, because this is where he was now in full black attire.
October 9th, 95 Nitro.
Yeah, he made his first appearance in that. He feud. This is where the feud kicked off now with the Dungeon of Doom.
And, well, yeah, because they had already Oh yeah, because I think it was it that's when they messed up his neck. Giant messed up his neck, and he had the
brace on.
He had the neck brace and everything. He did it twice to him, I think.
This is around the time too. The woman hit him with the heel of the shoe.
I forget, man. So long ago.
Something with his eye, I think, because woman was part of all of it, all the Dungeon of Doom thing, and I think she hit him with the heel, and everybody was kind of making fun of Hogan, like they were bringing high heel shoes to Nitro and stuff, and they were making a mockery of that whole storyline, which was pretty ridiculous anyway.
And this is when Hogan starts getting paranoid, and he thinks like everybody's against him, that Macho Man's against him, Luger's against him, and which Luger was, Sting, but Sting wasn't, and he starts saying, "Oh, he'll beat all of them or something." And like you said, he's dressed all in black. They were booing him though. If you remember, they were like kind of like booing him.
Well, like I said, in '95, Hulkamania started really taking a decline because people were starting to get bored with the gimmick. He's still the champion after all this time, and by this time in the mid-90s, you can't do that multi-year champion thing.
People starting to get a little tired
unless the gimmick is still fresh, and people were getting tired of it. I mean, by the time Hogan's reign ended, it was 469 days.
Yeah.
I mean, and in WCW, that's a lot.
Yeah.
And those fans aren't used to it, and they're like, "Oh, yeah, he's gonna beat another guy tonight, yay!"
I remember that was
starting to get stagnant.
Remember they had like a restraining order against the Giant. He couldn't get into the building. And he showed up outside with the monster truck, and then Hogan said that he was going to run out there and fight him. And
that whole monster truck thing was a joke.
Yeah, it's a mess.
But at War Games, they had him at Fall Brawl. It was the famous War Games match. It was Hogan, Savage, Sting, and Luger versus the Zodiac, Shark, Kamala, and Ming. Oh my God! And of course, Hogan's team won. And I don't know if it was this pay-per-view or another one that if Hogan's team was successful, that he actually got Kevin Sullivan in the ring. I believe it was this one. I could be wrong. So I believe it was this one. Again, long time ago, 27 years, and this is WCW. Yeah, it's a long time. If you remember anything from WCW, that's impressive because, I mean, not a whole lot of memorable moments there. In any event, now, Hogan's 15-month title reign, which was the longest ever in WCW history, ended at Halloween Havoc when he lost to the Giant by DQ. And let's get into this.
Oh, this was such a dumpster fire. I remember I actually did like the Giant, to be honest with you. I actually prefer the Giant in WCW versus Paul White, believe it or not. I really thought the Giant was very menacing in WCW, unbelievable. He was also in tremendous shape. If you look at him in 94, 95, even into 96, he looked incredible. He didn't start to really gain weight until later on.
And he was new to the business. Remember, Hogan recruited him just out of gym and said, "Hey, you want to give this a shot?" Because Big Show, Paul White, in a documentary not too long ago, had said that he was having a lot, hard time landing work. He was going, he was in between jobs. He was trying to find his niche. And Hogan just happened to be there with a few of the guys, and he's like, why don't you come give this a tryout, give it a shot? And in his first match, Hogan granted him a title shot, and Bischoff said, "Yeah, let's go for it."
Yeah,
Bischoff would say yes to anything Hogan at that point.
Basically. So creative control and all this other stuff.
Exactly. I thought that was pretty impressive.
Yeah, Hogan was also a master politician, and he because Sullivan, for whatever reason, Sullivan did whatever he wanted to. Because Sullivan was the booker. He did whatever Hogan wanted to do, basically, which is basically make him fight his friends, and go over. But this is such a dumpster fire because I remember right before that, right before Halloween Havoc, they had that thing with I forget what happened on Nitro, but I know towards the end of Nitro, they reveal the Yeti. I remember the ice thing explodes, and was it Shivani? They used to say yeah, the Yeti. I think it was Shivani.
Yes,
Um,
I remember this thing.
so there was that whole monster truck match, and yeah, I don't know why they did this monster truck match. Hogan
So
kills him. Basically,
stupid.
Hogan kills him. Although he
So
tries to
then he
save
fell
him.
off the roof, and he's like, and he. I remember him. You
Oh,
hear,
brother.
yeah, no.
I saw
I'm
this too
like,
at my friend Peter's house. I remember I watched it at his house.
I'm like, come on with this garbage.
So you think he's dead? You think he's dead?
Yeah.
When Hogan comes out at the end, I think Hogan's gonna announce. I haven't seen this in years. We're gonna review this.
Uh,
I guess Hogan thinks he's dead too. Because he's shocked when the giant comes out, Hogan has like a shocked, like scared look on his face.
yeah.
Um
I remember that.
so then they have that whole match and I guess
Clause. The contract.
well
They had a clause in the contract.
well
that
that's
Jimmy
later
Hart put
on.
in
But
there.
later on, yeah, that they mentioned that later on. Because what happens is Jimmy Hart turns on Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, it was during that match.
He turns heel. Sorry.
They actually they were trying to portray. Bischoff tried to portray. He tried to recreate WrestleMania 3 here.
Well, yeah, because Hogan even cuts that promo right before Halloween Havoc, where he talks about he doesn't mention Vince by name, but he says the promoter up there
north, yeah,
had such a big ego. He talks about Andre the Giant, how he's gonna beat his son just like he beat Andre, obviously. So yeah, they were trying to recreate.
Yeah, there's actually a quote on this that it said that they said this was slightly more energetic than Hogan Andre WrestleMania 3. I can't agree with that.
Well, only because Paul White could move around and Andre couldn't.
More agile than Andre.
Yeah. It's understandable.
But yeah, trying to recreate the whole WrestleMania 3 thing. I mean, no, you can't.
So Jimmy Hart turns on him. The whole Dungeon of Doom gives him a beating.
He gets him disqualified.
Yeah, he gets him disqualified. That's right.
He gets a clause in the contract that if Hogan gets disqualified, Andre, hello.
Because
the Giant wins the title.
Because Jimmy Hart had power of attorney.
Yeah,
that's what it was. He betrayed him.
He hits him with the chair.
Yeah.
And Hogan gets disqualified in his title reign.
Then Luger, I haven't seen this in years, man. Like I said, we're gonna review this. I know Luger ends up helping the Dungeon of Doom and puts him in the torture rack. Yes. I forget the exact circumstances.
He was kind of part of it, but he wasn't.
Right. He was like friendly with them for some reason, but he was still working with Sting, and Sting was good.
Because what's funny is we'll get to into this horrible match when we get into to 1996 here in a few minutes. Luger was part of that 2-on-8 match, if you can believe that match.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Because Luger was kind of Dungeon of Doom, but not. But I think he was more anti-Hogan than anything. So if you're anti-Hogan, come run with us, which is pretty much all of WCW. Mm-hmm. So now, because of all the shenanigans and stuff that went on, obviously the Giant gets, they vacate the title.
But you don't know it. Yeah, like at first he is the champion. He had the belt for a week or whatever it was. I remember he came out on Nitro and he had the belt. And then they stripped him because they said, even though that contract was valid, that the circumstances,
it was bull,
whatever, and they stripped him. They were basically trying to pull a Royal Rumble 1992, basically, with the stripping of the title and then putting in the
because they
battle
did
royal.
Exactly, yeah. So now we
got to cover that one. We got to cover that. We got to cover that too. We got to review that one. I told you I want to review this whole year.
Oh, 95?
Yeah. World War III. We got to review that. Yeah.
The match actually wasn't bad.
Yeah, we'll get into it. But
Giant gets the vacated title. Savage winds up winning the title when Giant cost Hogan. And I think Hogan, if I'm not mistaken, Hogan and Savage had a little bit of a confrontation at the end of the match because Hogan was bitter that this happened and that Savage was the champion.
Right. But even before that, because remember that Hogan, then he brings Macho Man into the fold, into the dark side. Macho Man dresses all in black, and they join forces. And then he has a beef with Sting because Sting grew his mustache and Sting was wearing the red and yellow. They have a fight, the cluster, you know.
Thank God the NWO showed up a year from now.
At the end, it's a whole big mess. It's a no contest. Nobody wins the match. It was weird to see Sting and Hogan fight each other, and this is the forgotten match. Like nobody ever mentions this in the Sting Hogan feud. It's like this match never happened. For that matter, Darkside Hogan never even happened.
Exactly.
Because when you think about Hogan with the black and white, it's just NWO. Like they never mentioned. It's like they just kind of erased it because it was so embarrassing.
Yeah.
But it was. Eventually, then Hogan, because then I remember Hogan had the mask on, that black mask, and he had a sword, and he does this weird promo, and he tells Macho Man to behead Meng. Meng is number 1 on his hit list.
Oh my God, yeah. And, I sort of remember all of that.
Yeah, this was so crazy. Yeah, he does that, and oh man, what else did he say? I remember he didn't mention OJ Simpson, but he alluded to OJ Simpson because Hogan had the black gloves on, and he's like, whenever you see somebody with a man with black gloves or something, I don't know. I was like, dude, OJ Simpson, really? But he ends up after that, because I remember there was a no contest between Sting and Hogan. I believe the Dungeon of Doom interferes. Mm-hmm. That's when he realizes that Sting is on his side. And then he has a meeting with Sting and with Macho Man. He apologizes. I think he kind of like apologizes to Sting. And then he takes the black bandana off and he has the yellow on. He rips the shirt. He rips the black shirt off. And it might have been at World War III or around. It's around this time. I forget. It's been so many years. And he apologizes. You guys are my friends. And, I'll never doubt you guys again. And yeah, that leads into.
I'll screw you guys over in about 8 months.
Right. It leads into Macho Man. Like you said, Macho Man wins.
Wins the title. Yeah. Hogan was bitter about it. And then they sort of become friends at the end of it. But in a way, Hogan wants him to issue the challenge to him right then and there type thing, and it was a whole big thing.
What? When is that match where it's Macho Man and Hogan versus the world? It's like right after that, right?
It was at Uncensored.
Was it Uncensored?
Yeah, the 2-on-8 match, the ultimate. It was like a 3-tier cage.
It was Flair, Meng, Barbarian, Arn Anderson, Luger.
Taskmaster. Z, don't forget Z Gangster.
Z Gangster, Zeus.
And the Ultimate Solution.
Tiny, for those who don't know, yeah.
Yeah, 2-on-8 and they win.
That's right, the Ultimate Solution. It was the Mega Powers versus the World.
Yeah, and they won. 2-on-8, they won.
Yeah, and they won, yeah.
They're getting their ass kicked the whole match, and they somehow get to the top.
That was when there was like 3 different levels, right?
Yes.
Oh, that was crazy.
The concept wasn't bad.
No, the concept on paper.
It was great.
Yeah.
Because just like you remember when in the movie Ready to Rumble, I know you haven't seen it, but they had the 3-tier cage that they actually wound up using in 2000. Yeah, that's where Arquette was the champion. Yeah. But again, the idea was awesome, but the execution was way off. Same thing in this match. I mean, that looking at those 3 cages, like, oh hell yeah, let's do it. But 2 men whooping 8 guys, and 2 of them can't even be hurt. Gangsta and Solution.
Yeah.
I mean, good Lord, man.
Yeah, this is crazy.
And leading to that, because remember, Hogan at Super Brawl 6, he fought the Giant in a steel cage match. Hogan won. That ended the feud there.
Right.
Prior to that, at Clash of the Champions, Hogan and Savage actually lost to Ric Flair and the Giant. So at Super Brawl now, he's done with the Giant. And pretty much at Uncensored now, he's done with the Dungeon of Doom. I would think so, considering you just beat 8 guys, and I'm like,
well, I remember after that, Hogan and the Booty Man fight Arn Anderson and Kevin Sullivan. I think it was on Nitro. I think. Yeah. Right, and then Hogan fights Arn Anderson and Kevin Sullivan in a handicap match. Also was it Nitro? I think.
Yeah, because after Uncensored, that was pretty much it for Hogan. He only sporadically showed up because. Before Bash at the Beach, remember Hogan was gone for about 2 months.
He was gone for a while.
And because this is now where they're contemplating, all right, we want to turn you heel. He's afraid to do it because he's not sure about his gimmick. Meanwhile, they're already booing him.
Yeah, you could tell it just wasn't.
For the people that don't know, at the 0 hour, Sting was gonna be the 3rd member.
Right, yeah.
And then Hogan at the last minute said, no, it's not gonna work. And he's right. I don't think it really would have worked. It's got to be me.
No, Hogan saw the steam that this is the truth. Hogan saw the steam that these guys were building.
Yeah,
he's like, I got to jump on that gravy train, brother. Yes. So that was.
He was smart to do it because I mean, honestly, as Hollywood Hogan, it's freaking awesome.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'm one of the greatest heels of all time. It gave him. It extended his. it extended his career, gave him a whole second run. No doubt, it worked out. It worked out for the best.
Because if you notice, even though the fans were booing him, the NWO as a faction, they were cheering them.
Yeah, yeah.
So it gave him a second life.
Yeah, yeah.
Which again, Sting, it would have crapped out.
Yeah, no, it wouldn't have worked. I agree. All right, so that's Hulk Hogan's early WCW career before the NWO. You guys let us know what you think about Darkside Hogan and everything else.
Oh my God.
Like, comment, share, subscribe, and we'll see you guys soon.
Take care.